Welcome to the fight game with Icewater and Puma. We've been away all summer, but we're going to recap some of the fights that kind of stood out this summer, and then also we want to talk about some of the fights that happened this summer that set up what's to come. And the first fight is with Ruiz and Ortiz, and Andy Ruiz got a decision over Ortiz. I was kind of surprised that Ortiz didn't really kind of fight a stronger fight. But after the fight before this, when I saw him and we talked about it, I think before the break, I'm like, I think he needs to retire. But he called out Andy Ruiz, and this guy came in shape. He came into battle, and he pulled out a victory in a brutal fight with Ortiz. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I was surprised because I'm a big Luis Ortiz fan, and I think Father Time is knocking on the door. But you got to give kudos to Andy Ruiz because with those short hooks and the way he was able to kind of get some things going, making some things happen from that standpoint, he came out and had a hell of a game plan. Ortiz is known as a bully to kind of hit you hard, but as you mentioned, the fight that he barely had to come from behind, his last fight prior to this, he showed a lot of courage and he was able to come back and win. But Andy Ruiz is kind of showed you the guy that he's capable of really being, living up his potential, and the guy that also was able to get that knockout victory over Joshua as well. So he took down Ortiz. Ortiz is, past his prime, and now I can finally say I think he's old enough where he has to move on. But no, Andrew Ruiz looked good. So got to give it to him. I was surprised, but he stepped up and did it.
Yeah, he came in good shape. People were talking about the shape he was getting in, and he came back. And I think this sets up where Andy Ruiz wants to fight Deontay Wilder. What do you think?
The whole part of it is that I'm surprised by that, but it's a good fight because of the factor that or when you think about it, Ruiz stepped up and made his claim, right? So now for him to move up to the next level, what better way than to shoot up and get Deontay Wilder? Wilder has a fight coming up in a couple of weeks in October, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I do this, then I'm trying to get back to the championship, right? Trying to make it work. And then like, okay, now, hey, why not if he knocks off Deontay Wilder? Oh my God. Don't you think Tyson Fury might, whoever wins that fight, whatever, take him seriously again?
Yeah, they have to.
And it's perfect for Wilder because Wilder's like, this guy has beginning momentum, and I want to prove to y'all that I still got it. So it works for both of those guys. So I like that fight. I mean, Wilder can get past it. His fight in October, and he looks good. Then yeah, I think it's right on point for Andy Ruiz, and they should do it soon. Because now you look at it from that standpoint, you go, man, this it's a good fight.
Yeah. When he said that, I'm surprised he's calling Deontay Wilder out, but it kind of makes sense if he wants to move up and wants to be considered the pound for pound or take some of those titles, then he has to go through Deontay Wilder, who people consider a knockout kind of artist, but he can't avoid him. He didn't avoid Luis Ortiz, and now he's not going to avoid Deontay Wilder. Yeah. What's also setting this up, Ice, is that Anthony Joshua lost again to Usyk, I mean. And I said to you offline that this is pretty much it for Anthony Joshua, but a safety net came by way of Tyson Fury and said, hey, Anthony Joshua, if you want to fight, let's do this. We can decide who's going to be the Britain champion. And for all my belts and my lineal championship and all that other stuff, kind of giving him a safety net to kind of stay in that heavyweight kind of division in the championship realm.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Tyson Fury is supposed to be retired, and he does things that make sense when it comes to money, right? He went after Usyk to kind of go, hey, you wouldn't get all these belts together. You can get a shot, you think you're the best. But then when you start acting as if you don't want it, start asking for too much money or acting, messing with the dates, then he's like, I don't have time for that because I really don't need to fight you because I am the heavyweight champion of the world. So instead of playing with you, and I'm not going to be Joshua chasing you around. Yeah, you got the belts, but it don't matter. So instead of doing that, here's what we're going to do. I know the fight people want to see. I already beat Wilder. You know, I beat him. People wanted me to fight Joshua forever.
Mm-hmm.
That sells. Everybody wants it. I'm not playing around no more. Guess what? Joshua, I know you lost, but this is a fight that will sell. Two big bruisers going in, and Joshua has a shot of throwing that punch that could possibly take Fury down.
Yeah.
It's a fight that can happen in Great Britain. Everybody wants to see it. It's perfect. Great matchup. Hey, why not? Why mess around with, even though Usyk has the belts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money is with Joshua. Everybody knows that. Because it's the same man, big man just like him in the ring and potential to get knocked out. You know, and you don't want to see him Fury fight Usyk and then you finally catch the little man and put him to sleep. We don't want to see that quick.
Yeah.
You want to see him fight the real deal, and that's Joshua. Even though he lost, still a fight you want to see.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to lose weight. I think he's just going to, if he fights Usyk, he's just going to push him around in the ring and finally just take him out. There was another fight on August 13th, Teofimo Lopez with a TKO in the 7th round against Pedro Campa. We can discuss that, or we can discuss the fight with Danny Garcia, who won against Jose Benavidez for the junior middleweights. So I'm going to let you take it from here, man. Any fight that you want to talk about that you felt was very kind of stood out or very important to the fight game and how it sets up other fights in the future?
Well, the Danny Garcia fight was very impressive because he came in and he looked like the old Danny Garcia. And it might help him because of the factor that he didn't go after any faster guys. You know, Benavidez was running his mouth, but he wasn't ready. Danny Garcia looked real well dealing with that weight, and he has a lot of confidence. One thing I like about it, too, is Danny Garcia mentioned before that he's had some mental issues.
Oh, okay.
He had some mental issues, health issues, and he's able to overcome that, and now he's back. So good for him. You know, it's kind of a reawakening for him. I think it's really good for him. This could set him up to really move up. Not sure how quick he will, but I think he can contend with some of the guys that are in that division. So moving up to, like 154. So I'm happy for him. I think it stood out, and I think it sets up for a lot of possibilities for him at 154. There's a lot of guys he can fight.
I know there's a fight coming up this month, and it's a fight that is the third fight. It's the trilogy with Triple G and Canelo Alvarez on September 17th. Your thoughts about that particular fight?
Yeah, it's the third one. Everybody knows what it's like. It's kind of one of them things that, are we going to see one more run, blaze of glory from Triple G, or are we just going to see an old man get beat up? That's what some people are saying. And this is a way for Canelo to kind of show how things are possible to keep moving. Canelo's he's a tricky bag. Okay, I lose here, and I'm going to drop back down and show you I'm still the king down here. So if any of y'all get any ideas, can I get any ideas? Quick y'all at bay. I'm still the man down here. I just went up, tried to get it all, tried to grab brass ring, but I'm gonna grab the silver. So with that being said, I think that's what's going to happen. Triple G, this is a hell of a payday for him. This is probably his last one. I would not be surprised if he loses fight that he retires. So you see Canelo doing what he does. And Canelo has, if he wins this fight, it just opens the door for so many things that people still want to fight Canelo. So that should be interesting there. But there's just one of those things that are kind of crazy when you move forward.
All right. Any fights that we need to be looking forward to in the future?
Yeah. This weekend, and depends on how you roll with it, September 10th, Clarissa Shields is fighting Savannah Marshall. They've been running their mouths, talking a lot of stuff. You don't see a lot of women's boxing. I think it's going to be a full card of mostly women. I just want to see Shields and Savannah Marshall. I think Marshall's the last one that kind of gave her she beat her in the amateurs, or like early. She's like the last one to give her a loss, and they've been talking a lot of smack.
They're both undefeated, right?
Yeah. Clarissa Shields is something else when she focused. So I just want to see it from that standpoint. Couple other possibilities we've been hearing about is Gervonta Davis been thrown out by a lot of people. Devin Haney's been talking about him. But the one fight that might come together might be Josh Taylor versus Gervonta Davis. I would like to see that. Yeah, I want to see that. And even though we haven't heard about it, there's a possibility still. It's all coming down to the cash. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. And now what's happening is Terrence Crawford had a certain amount of money that he wanted to get out of, and PBC is like, oh boy, I think Errol Spence says, I'm the A side. The most I'm gonna give you is $9 million, and you got maybe a 3-fight deal. And he's like, nah. So we'll see how bad Terrence Crawford wants this fight. He might have to take less money, but you'll get the fight. So what's more important for you, getting the belts, taking a L now and getting the money on the back end or whatever, or trying to have your pride? Your pride is getting in the way of the one thing that you really want. And now it's on the line. It's how bad you want it.
Yeah, I mean, if he really wants this fight, I think he should take it and then worry about the money later. But that's not sometimes how the athlete kind of think now. But one story on MMA with Usman. I know you saw that knockout with Usman. I know we had to get that in, man. But how shocked were you about that fight? Because I was watching the fight. I watched a tape of the fight. And I was like, this guy kind of let his guards down in the last round, thinking that he had this fight won.
Yeah, well, he's been rolling, right? Been rolling. But the one thing we know about MMA, unlike boxing, like boxing used to be, any given night, anybody can beat you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. He got a little cautious, and he got a little lackadaisical, and he got taken out. So with that being said, we saw the Lions lose, right? We saw all kind of folks can lose. So the one fight I do like coming up is Israel's supposed to be fighting the guy that beat him twice, in the third fight. So I want to see that because Israel been rolling for a while. But any night is possible. So I was surprised, but I was really surprised because everybody, when they get on that champion, they ride Usman for a while, and then they put him to sleep. It was like, welcome to the MMA, baby.
And you mentioned the Lioness. She redeemed herself and won her fight, even though it was costly. I think she was injured in that fight also. And so I'm not sure. And I saw a lot of fighters in the MMA and the UFC put their gloves on the mat, surprisingly, this summer, who walked away from fighting. So it was kind of eerie, kind of seeing some of these fighters who you kind of used to kind of battle and just put the gloves on the mat and say, that's it for me. I don't know if it's the pay. I don't know if it's just too rigorous. But I've seen a lot of fighters in the UFC just put the gloves on the mat and said that's it. And some of these fighters I anticipate coming back, but I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of them is, if it's time, you can't, get up to that level of athleticism and really participate that way. Like, we were waiting on a couple with the Ortiz brothers to come back. But if they're older and they're not really getting that level, we don't want to see them come back like an old washed up singer, right? Still trying to hold that note. If it's time to go and walk away, I'd rather see them do that for their health purposes and from that standpoint. Because when they're gone and they walk away, you want people to remember you and remember you being healthy. You keep fighting, and you kind of fall away or fall off. You need to go help train somebody or keep working out, whatever you need to do. But I'm more or less, and I'm thinking this for any athlete, for them to be really in a better position to live out the rest of their years, well. It's all about health, and hopefully they have enough money to do so. But when you stay too long, it can cause a major problem.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. That's it for this week in the fight game with Icewater and Puma. That's the man with the plan and expert on boxing. I'm just here for the show. We'll see you next time. Champ is here. Time's up. The champ is here. The remix.